to order. Board of Health, Town of Mendon, March 26, 2025, and we are being recorded. First order of business, roll call.
Tom Fickner here.
Joyce Gilmore here.
Jack McLean here.
Colleen Straponi here.
Alan Greenberg here. Thank you very much. We'll open it up to good and welfare for the public. We don't have anybody present at the table. Do we have anyone in the audience?
Nobody on the audience.
All right, moving right along to new business. Board of Health minutes review for March 5th.
Which I have to say again, I'm going to say this again.
Okay.
That was such a great presentation that you did with that Board of Selectmen.
Thank you.
I'm totally amazed all the time, and everything works out so perfect.
Any comments, additions, subtractions?
No,
other
I
than-
went through it.
All right,
I just saw a thing that said at the, or on the little line from the second paragraph from the bottom. The last thing, it said, so not,
Saying the T.
yes,
very good.
Thank you.
so not to confuse the testing.
Okay.
Very good. Tom?
Content was great. No issues with the minutes itself. Just one other grammatical. In that same section, it's third sentence down, a third paragraph down.
Yep.
After where it says and asked. Should that be if Mendon?
And as it was, if
Which number are we at?
the third bullet,
Third bullet down.
where it starts with Select Board Vice Chair Chanel.
Oh, okay, all right, okay,
And it should be asked if amended, IF, not IN.
oh, okay.
Good.
And then on the second page, second bullet, third sentence, after the word reviewed, the DOH has reviewed its rates.
Yep.
Right? And in the last sentence of that same bullet, where it says, better to, I think there's a word intended there.
Where we look at, I'm sorry.
Last sentence of that same bullet,
That it was better to
to
blank incremental increases.
To have.
One page.
have.
Better to have incremental
No,
increases.
it's whatever word you
And
want.
where am I now? I'm not looking at that.
Second bullet, very last line. Right over.
Oh. Oh,
Very
it's
good.
better to, okay.
Better to have incremental increases.
But the content was great, concise, no issues.
I like the fact that it was organized with bullet points to cover,
Right.
and this meeting, you know, for anyone listening in, this was a meeting that the Board of Health had with the Select Board to discuss the budget for 2026.
Was an excellent performance.
Thank you. Budget proposal, very good. I was just double checking the documents and submittals.
Trying to figure out how to get back to that screen. I'm sorry, continue, I'm sorry, I'm not.
All right. So if everybody is good, we'll do a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of March 26, 2025.
I'll second
March
that.
5th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll amend that motion. I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of March 5th. That's right, today's the 26th. I'm ahead of the game. 2025.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Tom, aye.
Joyce, I.
Alan, aye. Thank you. Health 2025 scholarship discussion.
All right, so I wanted to ask the board if we were gonna be doing another $1,000 scholarship This year, we're gonna go back to where it was, to $500 scholarship applications. Last year, it was $1,000, $1,000 scholarship available. And,
Well, my personal feeling is that, 500 is not a lot. 1,000 will get them all their books and stuff, and, I think 1,000 is better.
We didn't have two 1,000s at one point?
no, it was last year we had two 1,000s, because we had money left over. But
Oh.
this year, we have nothing left over except
Right,
1,000 for this year.
got it.
Any further comments on Tom?
I kind of agree with Joyce. I think that from a monetary perspective, probably better
Right.
than two 500s.
Do we remember how many apps we had last year?
I wanna say 7.
I like the fact that if you have 2 5s, you can help 2 students. But I do understand the cost of that whole endeavor and the fact that 500 doesn't go too far. So I could go either way. I could go with 2 5s and help two students a little bit, or I could go with 1,000 and be able to give one student a little more help. Where we had 7 apps, that was a lot. I didn't recall. For some reason, I thought we had 4 or 5, but to have 7 apps is a lot. But that is the total that we have available. So it comes down to what we think is going to be the most help, I guess.
Are we okay with the criteria? Any need to modify that?
I don't think so. I know at one time, it was a requirement that the person be going into environmental science, and that kind of got dropped. And, if someone applied and no one was going into environmental science, we still awarded the scholarship.
Right.
So, I mean, I think I'm fine with, the requirements. The 1,000 is probably gonna get us a little more. Interesting.
I think more
Yeah.
responders, because, it's, even though it sounds stupid, that they would say, 500 is not gonna help me enough, or something, I could be very wrong as well, so, but.
Unfortunately, I think that is the mentality nowadays.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we find that on the brothers side of things. I'm on the scholarship committee, and we do 2 5s, and we have gone to 1,000, and then we shifted back. And it seems as though that 5, even though it is a good handful of money, in today's world just doesn't make a dent. So if the student's time to apply for multiple scholarships is limited, they're gonna start with the bigger numbers and work their way down. And I can't blame them.
That's a good point too.
So I could, like I said, personally, I could go either way. Joyce, you feel 1,000, Tom, you feel,
I think 1,000 would be the way to go.
all right, so we'll do 1 for 1,000. Do we need to make a motion?
Well, I'll make the motion that we put forth the scholarship for $1,000.
I say,
All in favor?
Online.
Al and I.
And I'll try and do the letter, everything like I did last year, with an expiration date of May 8th, 2025, and when they're due. So that way they should be all available for the May 14th Board of Health meeting for review.
yeah, that would be nice.
Very good. If there's nothing else on the scholarship discussion, we'll move to the 2025 annual town cleanup.
All right, for the annual town cleanup, the Board of Health usually pays for half the advertisement.
That's very nice.
This is gonna be, what's gonna be in for the the free press newspaper. It's gonna be an insert, and if Board of Health is good with it, the total cost will be $116.25. Total.
Yep.
And includes the printing, and, just to let you know, it is gonna be divided in 4 ways this year. So we have Parks and Recreation, Dan Myers contributing cost, the Board of Health, obviously. Land Use Committee and Mazar is contributing, and Conservation Committee is contributing. So the $116.25 is divided by 4 flow.
Gotcha.
1 flow portion.
Nice. Yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah,
I
nice
think
job.
that's very nice.
Yeah.
And while I'm thinking of it, what is our expectations of each other to this day? What is the expectations to the Board of Health, as people?
Well, it really isn't one day.
Right,
So we have the kickoff day,
Mhm.
right, where the Lions hold the kickoff over at the club school.
Yeah.
So I would say that, you know, any BOH members that want to attend the kickoff,
right, yeah,
and with whatever time you have. But where we used to have, it was one day, and then it got expanded due to COVID,
right,
to a time period. I mean, there's really only that one official introduction.
uh-huh,
There's not a finale at the end. So whatever time you want to give on the kickoff day.
right, okay, that's what, I mean, I was expecting that would be true. I mean, and I'm happy to do that. That's,
No, that'd be
you
great.
know, I think that we should put our face out there for it, you know?
Yeah, it's usually difficult for me where that's a work day for me this time of year.
Yeah,
So that I probably.
yeah, but so
won't be
as long
able
as
to
they're,
Yeah.
you know, the rest of us are, I don't know about you, I mean, I certainly can do it.
Mhm.
And Jack, will you be there too?
Just so you know, so,
South Carolina,
Whoa.
Where are you gonna be?
South Carolina,
Yeah.
she'll be thinking of us.
yes.
So when you do go to event and then you got clean
No,
up, we'll bring you to the town webpage that explains everything. They kick off the event, that's still being worked on. The sign up sheet to where, what streets you wanna work on. So it gives more detailed information.
Do you know if there was any determination as to whether I need to help with,
You do not, you're all set.
we got plenty?
Yep.
Okay,
We had extra bags last year that John brought to the custodian
Okay.
village.
that's what I thought
Yes.
was the discussion. Kind of lean in the beginning, and then because of the turnout, we had an abundance. Thank you for following that up.
So out of curiosity, when people are out there picking up the trash, are they supposed to just then leave the bags on,
That was what that's what I heard.
Yes.
are
Yeah,
they supposed to?
Because we were
Or just leave?
talking to
We'll
John.
do it the side of the road.
Yeah, and then the
The highway goes
highway.
You
up.
know, bag them, make sure that the bag is closed, and
Yeah.
of course, not leave it open and just have it closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you encourage like the neighborhoods, you know, to get a street of your neighbors. They clean up your own neighborhood and, you know, usually, it's very effective,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
very effective.
I've got a
They know
couple of
they can
things.
just leave the bags, they don't have to cart them anywhere,
Yeah,
you know?
right, and when it's full, you tie it off, leave
Yeah.
it there, and start up your next bag and
Yeah.
Right,
keep marching on.
what if you could, it'd be worth it to consider making a contest out of it?
Who could bag the most trash?
I mean, there could be some streets though that garnish more trash than others.
Right.
but you would be surprised at Washington Street. It,
Really?
well,
Because I know, I've noticed Blackstone Street because I
I,
started
you
walking.
know,
it.
I walk up the hill
Providence Road.
and back, and when you go up there, and you know, on where there's the wooded area, there are so many nips.
Oh, yeah, that's that's like the urban legend, I'm not kidding.
I'm like, what the heck is this? Some
Yeah.
alcoholic just.
Oh, you know what they
Kids.
say it is?
Driving?
Yeah, people driving and then they, you know,
Open
yeah,
Yeah,
right out the window.
There was a,
and it's both sides, so, because when I go up this side, I come down that side,
Yep,
they're still there,
Thank God they're plastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
There was an early cleanup that took place on Emerson Street a few days ago. If anyone's noticed, so many nips.
Really?
Nips and Coke cans.
Yeah.
Diet Coke cans.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
big combination, nips and the little plastic containers for the, I think probably the single marijuana things.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
What is that?
You can buy marijuana
vape
like
things.
in single, in a tube.
Oh,
It's
Oh.
already like a
Oh,
cigarette.
pre-roll, pre-roll,
Pre-roll.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, a whole ton of those are.
Yeah.
oh,
We did.
I probably started and didn't know what it was, of course.
Yeah, me too.
Silly me.
A few years ago in Blackstone on Canal Street, when we had the spring cleanup, and I had me and 3 high school girls and we picked up, and I kid you not, 275 nip bottles,
Yes, well,
all right?
yeah. Well,
And that
that's what
street's not that
happens.
big, it was like mostly in this one area, you
Right.
know? Even the girls were like, you know, they just were beside themselves, I said, don't,
Canal Street, that, you said Blackstone?
yeah,
Is that where the police station is?
no, that's on St. Paul, but it's
That's
right
St.
up,
Paul.
Yeah,
it's right
What's up
there,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but you pass the police station and take a
Take
left.
that left.
Yeah,
right.
Got it.
It's
Maria,
amazing to me. I
right,
mean,
right.
like I said, across from Gannett's is that wooded area.
Yep.
Like a half.
well, now you know where to go. On top of that,
Yeah,
To get the most bags.
Uh-huh.
there you go.
yeah.
It would be nice, and I sort of thought along Tom's lines, if there was some way of making a contest out of it. I just don't know how,
Which street
You
will
would
get the
monitor it.
best, which street has the most trash or something?
we'd have to do like the cleanest street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And we'd have to have the highway department be
check
the
it out,
judge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are in the streets,
How many bags you
and
pick up?
they're the ones that are picking the bags up, so.
They have the most bags.
Then again, now you're awarding, how do you award it to the whole street?
exactly.
Right.
So what do you, I mean,
Well, you
unless
give
we
them-
got
Yeah, that's true
Instead of
too.
giving them like a thing, you give
just
them
recognition,
recognition.
yeah,
You know, instead of giving them a tomato or an orange.
Yeah.
You give them the recognition that
Cleanest
you
street.
did the cleanest, that this is the
maybe we
cleanest.
could get the highway to do a sign.
Cause that'd be hard to like pinpoint Emerson compared to Providence, Blackstone.
Correct.
Or
Right.
Lakewood Street, how many bags?
We know Tom would cheat.
Yeah, they go steal the bags
He already
on the
did.
other side, they just pile them there.
Yeah,
Yeah, geez, I guess we can keep thinking on that.
Yeah.
If someone comes up with a, I mean,
I like a, I like a
Yeah.
notification, you
on
know,
each end of the street, and we could pay for the banner, and then we could save the banner for next year,
yeah,
clean, and just call it
that's a
Cleanest
good
street
idea,
in Mendon,
yeah, that's a really
And-
good idea.
regardless of the size of the street or how,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
maybe that would be some kind of an incentive
Kind of a
to
fun
get
thing,
people out there.
Yeah, you do, well, maybe just like a gift certificate.
But how do you do it for the whole,
well, that's what we're saying,
Just
I don't
the
think we can do that, but you
Yeah,
give them
so-
recognition.
right,
It's the recognition thing, and like you said, it's a banner of some sort that says cleanest street in Mendon.
Oh, that you could put up on the street sign?
yeah,
Street?
Oh, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, you put up one on each end of the street, and, you know, you leave it up for 2 or 3 weeks,
Right.
and then we take it down and store it, and someone, you know, the next year's
There you go.
wants to, you know, I mean, that's the only, because
Yeah.
it's a collective
Yeah,
effort.
sure,
Try to make it a pride thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
right,
street pride,
because that might also lead to, you know, additional cleanups on that street so that they maintain that recognition.
right,
Right.
So we looking for a vote to pay the, for 116.25.
I'll make a motion that we take on the cost be taken on to pay the, whatever portions are gonna be,
$116.25.
$160.25.
second.
all in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Mendon Animal Inspector Appointment Discussion.
So I got the form in from MDR, which is the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture, asking us to name the animal inspector. I'm just looking to ask the board if we're looking to reappoint Danielle Edmonds before I reach out to her.
I mean, she's been doing a fairly good job, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I would say,
Well, we don't have any other candidates, right?
We don't, and I think my only concern, and this is something that Danielle hasn't expressed, is the fact that she's not in town on a regular basis because of her job change.
Right.
So if that's not affecting her ability or her desire to do the job, then at this time, I'm fine. If it is affecting her, being able to do the job, she hasn't expressed it.
Did you talk with her lately?
I am not talking for recently.
I did speak with Kevin Sullivan, and he's currently working on a regional idea of animal inspector throughout the partnership. It's not anything that's ready now, but I asked him to incorporate Mendon into it, just so we could see like what that number would be.
Okay.
You know, and he has additional staff that is present and local in the area. And I thought that from our previous, conversations, that was something that the board was interested in. So I took it upon myself to have a conversation with him about it. He advised me that they would probably have something within the next 2-3 months tops.
Okay,
So what you might want to consider doing is just appoint Danielle for a shorter period of time if this seems to be a better fit for, that you guys determine that it's a better fit for the town.
I mean,
Do that.
we're very fortunate that when she was part of the collaborative,
Absolutely.
and we didn't have an animal inspector, we had a vacancy. Very, fortunate that she stepped forward and said, yeah, I can fit that in.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see, I think in the future, if there was, if what you're talking
Yep.
about would come to fruition, is I would like to see more activity. It goes right back to, how you start everything off, education.
Yeah.
Versus, penalizing someone, but that takes time. Because as you do with the tobacco, first you go out and educate everybody, and then you come back and do the inspection. So that involves, a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
There are many more animal locations than on the tobacco side.
Yes.
So it's something that would be kind of an evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It would take some time to get all the components to everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it would be a plus, especially where we're right the farm town.
Yeah, and he already has 2 other staff members, so he's talking about also putting a 3rd person on, and they would be local within the partnership towns. I'm not sure all of the partnership towns, I think all but one right now
Okay.
that is not interested, but he's absolutely putting something together. So I just wanted to make the board aware of that. And if that was something that, would fit into the, the Mendon mold, then it would be available for you guys to consider.
Okay.
I'm looking at the nomination of inspector of animals form that we actually have to submit. It doesn't appear as though, it looks as though you could put a date down. It doesn't have to be for a whole year.
No,
No.
that's what I was saying to you, that you could do it for,
A date could be put, but,
could be for 2 months.
so
I'd say 6, just to buy
I
something.
think that would be clear.
that would be cleaner, because the next question I'm gonna ask is, from a compensation perspective, how is she being compensated now? In terms of the monies that go out, are they going out to her monthly, weekly,
She has 2 6-month stipends.
2 6-month stipends?
Correct.
So that would definitely
Oh,
make
so
it,
that makes sense then, 2-6
that would make
months.
it,
But it goes from July to December and January to June.
okay, so we have to make this,
So we could prorate it to whenever.
Well, I mean, her last stipend, yeah, right, you can prorate it. I mean, but the one to June would be the full 6 months.
Would be the full 6 months.
And then if we get something on board, yeah, it might actually work out to be that it ends up, if the board chooses to go with the partnership, that it would be a July 1st thing, which would be perfect.
Yeah, well, that makes sense then.
Now, I take it that, required to nominate somebody. Otherwise, there's a potential penalty here, as I read this.
I'm not sure that there's a penalty, it just would be better for the town to have, in case of an emergency, to have an inspector on board.
I mean, the way they phrase it, it says that any city or town not in compliance, which I guess is open for, what do you mean by that? Is subject to a penalty of $500. I guess they're saying you do have to have somebody,
All right,
right? As opposed to just being able to, suppose they have to let it go without
Right.
submitting, so I guess we have.
I wouldn't recommend that, I would
No,
recommend keeping Danielle on until we
Right.
see if this comes to fruition.
right, yes, and that's 6 months, and that would work, yeah.
Well, and, you know, obviously, we would want to give her some notice,
Correct. Oh, yeah.
you know? I know, you know, I've, tried to gather some information, not knowing all the details of the job. And what I've been told is, like, if you had to do a rabies check because someone got a dog bite and you had to do the quarantine, that it is to your advantage to live in close proximity to the area you service. Because you're coming out for 5 or 10 minutes to take down the report, and then it's a 3-day quarantine. So if you're close by, it just seems to,
Work better.
yeah, for everyone. You
And then
know?
the specimen has to get to the lab. See, it's the other part of that, right?
Well, if it's a dog bite and the dog is.
No, that's just a quarantine.
Yeah.
A dog bite's a quarantine. If there was a, you know, a bat
Bat.
and potential, you know,
Or a
actually delivered
Yeah.
one.
Right.
I had to do one last year,
Yeah,
because unfortunately, he was unavailable,
Right,
so I jumped in to help out, and I took the ride, but it's a lab in Jamaica Plain.
Jamaica Plain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because shortly before that, I almost had to go, because Max was unavailable, and, I got a call from Kevin,
Yeah,
and then Kevin went down and whatever rodent it was,
Mhm.
it wasn't a rodent that carries rabies, so I didn't have to go. So just like these examples here, we all work together.
yeah.
If someone isn't available at a particular moment,
Yeah,
and we would continue to do so.
oh, yeah, no, I didn't mind doing that.
But knowing that Kevin has some assistance,
Mhm.
would definitely limit the times where one of us would get tapped to pitch in.
Plus, the other thing too is that, you know, he is affiliated with a regional animal shelter. So say like there was an issue with, you know, with a stray dog or a stray animal in Mendon, and, you know, we got a complaint and Kevin had to retrieve that animal, at least the regional animal shelter is available.
Oh, yeah,
would that be in Blackstone?
Yep,
Yeah,
on Chestnut Street, right?
that's right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, he is our dog officer
He is.
Yep,
already.
yeah,
Yes.
this
Not to be confused with
animals,
the public.
Totally separate.
Right.
yep,
But he already services the town in the
yes,
dog officer capacity.
Correct.
I just wanted to confirm that.
I should say, well, it's more general animal control,
right,
so not just
Okay.
dog, but animal.
Yes,
control.
animal control, there is a distinction.
Okay.
because
Yeah, versus animal inspection.
when our cat Barney was trying to die, actually, he was 22 and a half years old. He went over from my house on a Friday night to the Muffin House. Truth. and into the parking
Like
lot.
to have a cup of coffee and a muffin for you, which was her what?
I don't know what he was thinking. He never left the yard. He was the best cat ever. And the guy came and picked him up. And my granddaughter sent me a picture. She said, oh no, she said to me, called me and said, Barney's up at the Muffin House. I said, that's crazy. He would never leave the yard. And Friday, Washington Street, getting across Washington Street is enough. Never mind Route 16. So she sends me a picture. And there he is. And so anyway, I called the animal inspector there.
Kevin,
Was it Kevin, the young kid?
yeah, Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh,
He said, he said, I picked him up and I just left, but I'll turn right around and come
Yeah.
back. And so Dan and I went and got him and he said, I'm not gonna charge you. And I said, well, so Dan gave him a
Donation.
donation fee for it. Anyway, and we took him home and that was like the Friday before Christmas. And Christmas night, I think he was waiting for the night, Christmas night, he died. 22 and a half years old.
That's
It's a
amazing.
long life.
I know.
Yeah,
He was the best cat ever. Enough, sorry.
That's all right. So do we move forward and,
That
Make the
makes
appointment.
sense to me,
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
based on that criteria.
yeah.
yeah, and, so we'll do 6 months?
Yes, I
All right.
think it makes sense, and then we know, by that time, we should know all the ducks are in a row.
Right, and I want to say that
Yeah.
takes effect April,
April 1st, correct.
right,
So,
but you were talking about the way she gets paid.
She gets paid for 6 months stipends of January through June.
Right.
So she'll get paid, if it starts in July, she'll get
September.
paid for April, May, and June for 3 months.
Okay,
so we'd be putting an expiration date on this, I guess, of June.
I wouldn't have to put an expiration date on it, period, I'll just complete it as is.
Oh, okay.
We can update, if it comes to that, we can update 10 hours later.
Because we have a variable here, we're not sure how that.
Correct. And I figured I hate to say something,
right.
change that again.
right,
And I guess it would be fair sooner than later to have that discussion, Danielle. Because since we are talking about it, I wouldn't want to let too much time go.
right.
I was gonna let her know tomorrow, because I was gonna get the board's approval
Because
to
April 1st
reappoint.
is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna tell her, I'm like, is it okay if you have the animal inspector again? Because I need her permission to put the paperwork through.
Yeah.
And I'll say, the board's discussing regionalizing, are you okay with it? Just to let you know, that's what we're thinking.
Kind of potentially, we could go to a regional approach and,
Right.
got it, praise it, yeah, okay.
I'll let her know tomorrow.
Again, I think she was, really trying to extend herself and help us out when
Absolutely.
when we had nobody.
Absolutely.
And, she probably didn't know exactly where her career path was gonna take her. And it took her to Taunton, and I understand she's doing very well down there, but, like I said, kind of talking about the position and talking to different people, the example was brought up about a dog bite and how if you're not close by,
Right, next door, right.
it's inconvenient to do your job for that 5 or 10 minutes that you have to physically appear.
Yeah,
And I understand that, it would be for anybody. So we'll see how things shake out.
Since we're on the topic of this, I did have a question about the form. So we just this year did that new form that we put out to folks, the keeping of livestock.
Mhm.
And I don't know how the response has been.
54 so far.
54.
Excuse me.
54.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's very good.
Out of what we think
Yeah.
is how many
Well, last year we had 17.
from a response perspective?
No, from getting y'all going out doing the inspections, we only had 17 inspections done in 2024.
So the pink slips, the bond book that
Yeah.
the state sends out?
Okay, oh, okay.
So this was our first year doing
Doing
more
this.
people, yes.
Correct.
So I had 54 responses.
Got it. I guess what I was thinking was out of how many locations we think exist.
So that would be households.
Households, sorry.
I don't know.
100? I just didn't know if we knew a rough number of how many.
No idea.
There's so many hobbyists out there that could have rabbits that
Yeah.
the neighbors wouldn't know they had rabbits or had chickens and the
That have never
neighbors
been,
wouldn't
that
know.
have never been caught up in the bond book.
Right.
Correct.
Because the bond book is basically the calculator.
The
of
book.
the book.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
So,
now, obviously, this year, from 17, it'll be 54,
yeah, right.
and they're still coming in, so
Still
there
coming
could be more.
Okay,
Yeah.
Which is great, so I'm glad to hear that. A question about the intro sentence, paragraph on it. So it starts off by saying, the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, MDR, through the Division of Animal Health, appoints a municipal animal inspector for each and every city or town in the Commonwealth. Municipal animal inspectors are responsible for annual livestock inspection and may be called to assist with domestic animal disease, quarantines in the event of an outbreak. What it doesn't mention, and I wonder if it should, if I'm reading this as a regular person, I'm thinking that the decision for the animal inspector is through MDR. But in actuality, the local board of health
It's in
is
charge.
doing the nomination. Yes, MDR is approving it, but there is an element of local involvement by the local board of health. I just didn't know if in the future we would want to rephrase it to incorporate the BOH's part in that process.
Is that
That's all.
our form exclusively? Or is
That's,
it?
I just drafted it
Yeah,
out.
you just got,
Okay.
you got that local. It's not a formal.
No,
Okay,
it's not a formal thing or anything.
okay.
So I'm just thinking, I know this year is done. I'm just thinking next year, maybe we want to incorporate so that people understand that the local board of health does do the nomination and
All right.
then approved by MDR. That's all. Because as I read this, I would think that local board of health has no involvement at all in the animal inspector process.
Well, you could just add, after the MDOT thing through the local, and is administered through the local board of health.
Yeah, some little
Yeah.
additional, doesn't have to be major, just some little.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Just a note.
I have no qualms with that.
Just a-
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if back like in the Larry Pearson days, that maybe the Board of Health didn't have a lot to do and maybe one animal inspector may serve 3 or 4 towns because the population of animals was, in some cases, maybe smaller. I mean, even though Mendon is a farm town, there probably were only a few active dairy farms, et cetera. Now we have a lot of hobbyists that are, either animals for 4-H purposes or chickens for eggs. The general population itself has grown. I mean, I don't know how many dog licenses Ellen issues, but I'm sure it's a growing number.
And I agree, because the other thing that we have is that we have a sizable Mennonite community, and they almost all have
Right.
animals in.
Yeah, livestock of some kind. Yeah, you're right, Joyce. That's a good point. All right, so we'll update that for next year.
No, yeah,
I think it's great that, we're getting the response that we're getting.
That's
That's
awesome.
definitely gonna be helpful.
yeah, it's fantastic.
Sometimes people just don't realize it too, you know what I mean? And they're happy to, because they probably would look forward to or welcome, an inspection and, some education,
Yeah,
All right.
which
Make sure that they're
opportunity.
getting things right.
Yeah, and also to know that, hey, you know what, I never realized, we have a local animal inspector, if they had an issue, that they wanted to discuss with the
Want some
animal inspector, exactly,
Yep.
Yep, I agree.
All right, anything else on that? No, great. All right, we'll move on to old business, Old Mendon landfill update.
I'll let you take that.
All right, Jack and I did a little field trip.
yeah. Measures and
And we went down and we took measurements, and I did some rough calculations to try to figure out how much material was required.
Yeah.
Jack noticed that the largest depression was larger, it was deeper than when he had been there before.
So you and I went out with Greg Root.
It actually had become bigger.
I don't remember that being at that day when we went out in November, was it?
Really? Okay.
And which
Um,
one is that?
That's the one that almost looks like a boomerang.
Oh, yeah, okay,
That was actually, had a depth of 14 inches,
wow,
which, and it's a considerable size. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a lot more than we can volunteer to do. When I calculated the materials, I did start kind of giving it some thought. What I would propose to do, and I think would be acceptable, is to fill the deepest part of the depression with clay fill, and then 3 inches of loam on top, and obviously leave it elevated a little bit because we're gonna trap some air in there. The material is gonna be fluffy, so we
yeah,
want
it's
to
not
be
really,
right.
With the material type, we have to get validation through DEP that of our plan material.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because I did do some reading, Jack had some information, and it mentioned whether or not a permit would be required. And it almost gave me the impression that they were looking for a plan of what we were gonna do before we did it.
That's
Now,
correct.
that's only the
It's
way
good
I
to run it by
interpret it.
them
Mhm.
anyway, you know what I mean, and ask for their guidance.
But just, and like I said, I didn't go back and check any of my math, but, we were looking at 40 yards of screen loom just to go over the top.
Right.
That's
Of
two
the-
10-wheeler.
of the first ones,
I'm gonna say it again.
That's two 10-wheeler loads.
Okay.
That's a considerable,
So considerable amount.
it's unfortunately, it's nothing that we're gonna go down there and do in 4 hours.
Right.
Just to confirm, that's for all the depressions, the 4.
oh, for all of them, okay.
Well, yeah, I call it 3 because
Right, yeah.
one's made up of 2 components.
Yeah.
And then, again, I didn't check my math, but we were looking at 67 yards of clay fill.
Wow,
Again, that's 3 plus 10-wheeler loads. I figured roughly 100 pounds of seed, 50 pounds of fertilizer. So, I came up with about $27.50 just for material. That's no trucking, no machine time,
Mhm.
no labor.
Mhm.
It was much larger than I thought. I was shocked by what we were looking at. So we either partner up with the highway department, which would be my first choice.
Yeah.
Or we would have to put it out for bid and get a local contractor to do it. I sort of have if I could work with the highway department, if we could work with the highway department, and we didn't have to complete it all in one day.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you would have.
Well,
to-
see, my thought is, if we look at the screen, the 2 depressions on the left
Yeah.
are considerably smaller than the depression on the right. We obviously, and I would approach a job that I would do myself the same way. We don't want to make it look like a construction site.
Mhm.
So my thoughts are where the town has 6-wheelers that would hold approximately 8 to 10 yards. You could save a lot of time, provided the ground isn't muddy, by just dumping the fill in the hole,
Mhm.
rather than dumping it and moving it with a machine. So if this is something, let's just hypothetically say, if the highway department could put a guy and a 6-wheeler on this for better part of a day, he may be able to safely get like all the clay fill real close to a lot in those depressions. Hopefully, without making any tracks, or any tracks that would need more than just backblading it with the machine.
Are there any concerns with putting those weight vehicles on those areas, out of curiosity?
You're not gonna, other than doing damage to the existing turf, I would say no. I mean, equipment was run over, and still is run over those fields to maintain them. A six-wheeler with 8 to 10 yards of material is probably gonna have a gross weight of maybe 30,000 pounds.
Okay.
I'm gonna say less than 35,000 pounds, distributed over 6 wheels. The property definitely isn't mush, but we don't want to, we want to disturb the turf the least amount possible.
Right.
Because we're there to make it look better,
Right,
not turn it into a construction site.
right.
So then, once the holes are pretty much filled with predetermined amounts of material, to go down there with the backhoe and rough grade
Smooth
it,
it out, like, yeah.
now you get the loom. And kind of do the same thing, so if my approach and the highway surveyor's approach would be the same, it may take 2 or 3 visits to do each step. If they got it to the point where the loom was rough graded, then we could easily jump in there, break it out, seed it, and fertilize it. It's just way too much material for me to either haul with a 1-ton truck
Right,
at 2 yards a trip,
Right,
or the machine time to move it all around. If you hire 10-wheelers to dump 20 yards in a dump, the moving around. Now, if I had a 6-wheeler like I used to, the size of what the highway department has, that would be a pretty reasonable approach. Because again, you have a truck that's gonna weigh 30 to 35,000 versus a 10-wheeler that's gonna weigh 80,000.
mhm,
Less chance of disturbing what is there.
Yeah.
At this point, it's a matter of connecting with highway and presenting the plan.
So I will reach out to John.
Okay.
Maybe we can visit what's there. And we can compare
Mhm.
approaches at tackling the job.
mhm.
Plus, if the town purchases the material from Kimball's right down the street. So the trip time is pretty short. But highway has to be willing to be able to jump in and jump on this in a relatively short period of time. Because if you're gonna grow grass, you don't wanna be trying to plant it in June or July.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
theoretically, I mean, you'd think that, I know that sounds really stupid, but they're not gonna be as busy as they would be in the wintertime when they have bad weather and bad ice and stuff like that. The highway department, that it would be more of a down time.
Well, I would say because of all the things that come under highway,
Yeah.
that they're probably just as busy, but it's a little easier to schedule things.
Right, that's what I mean.
Because you can't schedule snowstorms.
Snowstorms, that's what I mean, yeah,
Your scheduling is
right,
probably, and I shouldn't speak for highway, it's probably a little easier during the months that it's not snowing to schedule work.
Mhm.
So,
Do you want to just take that conversation kind of direct offline with highway and then just?
yeah, like I said, I'll reach out to John and try to meet up with him in the next couple of days. And if, the best thing to do is take a ride over there.
Right.
So he knows exactly what we're looking at. I'm more than happy to share all my measurements, et cetera. Right now, they're still flagged,
Yes, there's.
right, because we flagged them with white flags.
Oh.
We did 4 points for each one, north, south, east, and west, so that we could get some measurements. So the flags are still intact. The grass is short.
Mhm.
Now's a good time.
Mhm.
But I don't know what he has on his plate.
Correct.
I think the thing that, there's a sense of urgency to get this done. This is DEP telling us that we need to get this taken care of. We've gone through all the legal things and back and forth, and it's our responsibility. That's it. It's gotta get done. And I would say at this particular date and time of year, it's almost more important to get this done than the catch basin. Now, not that the catch basin isn't important, but timing wise, the way things are gonna grow and maybe get wet or maybe get dry, I'd rather see him jump on this.
That makes sense.
And then the next step would be to get that catch basin. And then we should be good for a while. Because we're doing what the DEP told us we needed to do. So I'll do that. I'll reach out to John and see what we can do. If not, like I said, we're gonna have to put it out for bid. And, you know, 3 bids, and the town was gonna have to build it into their budget somewhere.
All the more reason, the sooner the better to have that conversation with John, so we
Yeah.
know what direction
Mhm.
we have to take.
Yeah, no, I'll
That's the time.
I'll ring him up early tomorrow morning and catch him on his way to
Okay.
work.
Cool. Nice job.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, I was a little disappointed when I actually visited the site,
Saw how big it was.
because, you know, there's just no way we could effectively make a dent in that.
Concept of a couple of wheelbarrows went out the window.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the manual labor.
I'm figuring 4 to 6 yards, you know, half a day, grab lunch and job well done, but,
Not so much.
no, I've been on the property and I never saw those depressions. Now, granted, I wasn't looking for them. The grass was probably a different height, so that hides
That's
them.
it. Yeah.
But boy, they were very evident when Jack and I were there. It was like, wow.
So any discussion, communication with the DEP, the progress so far?
Let's talk to John first.
Yeah.
I would rather tell him what our plan is than we're still in process.
Alright.
And I think it's just a matter of days for John and I to get together.
The plan.
All right,
Awesome.
thank you very much, folks. We're gonna move on to Mendon private well regs.
Well, I did talk to Tom Ryder today, he's still working on them, but he said that he would like to talk to me tomorrow about them, so I don't know exactly what he wants to talk about. So, no new updates as of yet.
All right. Moving right along, Board of Health admin updates, Eversource property.
There is still nothing new with the
That is,
refund of the $150, so I'm still working on it.
that is so amazing to me.
Well, because I'm sure if the town hall didn't pay their electric bill, we would hear about it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's,
I'm still working on it,
Yeah,
so
no.
fingers crossed.
all we can do is be persistent.
And for the next topic, for the BBPPH staff discussion, I do have Dominique James, who is the health inspector. Jenna Goulin, who is the social worker.
Yep.
And Deb Facera, who is the nurse for the Bicentennial Partnership. They are able to meet with the board on our next meeting, which is April 9th.
Fantastic.
So they will be joining us on Zoom.
On Zoom.
On Zoom, yes.
Great.
So that is scheduled.
As opposed to Teams?
Teams, yes, I'm sorry.
Some people work with different applications.
No, the Teams. Teams. Sorry,
No worries.
No, that's great.
Cool, awesome.
That's great.
so we'll meet and greet with all the Blackstone Valley staff. And that's all I have.
All right. Moving on, health agent updates, please.
We are busy. I will say that.
Was that?
I said, we are busy, I will say that.
Yeah.
So just busy with, mobile food truck permits coming in. We had, the opening of, Judge Surf and Turf.
Yeah.
We have the opening of Vanderbilt Farm coming this month, and we have the opening of, Southwick's concession stand this month.
Where's the drive-in?
And the drive-in also, thank
Oh,
you for
okay.
reminding me,
Yep.
it's scheduled.
That just came in and that's scheduled.
Yeah, and that's scheduled, so the month of April is pretty busy with, openings, reopenings, I should say, in food trucks, and those inspections. A couple of housing, inspections that I'm working on, and some concerns with regards to, local dumpsters in the area, resolved both of those issues, in the last 2 days, Jack and I did.
Fantastic.
Yep,
Thank you.
and just also follow up on two other cases that have been on our list. Hatford Ave being one of them. Now that the weather is warmer, I'm gonna go down and take a visit.
I did go by there and they had a lot of furniture out
Yeah.
and that was, I went by one way and came back the same way in about half an hour or 20 minutes or something, not even that long, and it was gone, so.
Yeah,
And it wasn't bad looking furniture,
No.
really.
It was in the front, I've been monitoring it, I mean, go by and whatnot, I mean, with the ice and stuff, I was a little leery, I stopped the car, actually got out and stood up on top of the driveway, because I was no way. And
Right.
I could tell that they were down there and they were clearing stuff out of those garages.
Good.
So I plan on, now that the weather is broken, I plan on going and talking to them. I have a couple of properties I'm monitoring right now for, refuse outside. One of them, just so happened that I stopped on my way home. They just happened to be there, so when I was coming back, yeah, to the meeting tonight, I'm happy to say that the 2 items of concern had been removed.
Awesome.
You know, Blackstone Street, right-hand side, odd side of the street, number maybe 97. 97 or 99. Small ranch with a detached 2-car garage. They've got one of those bags that you buy like at Home Depot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
To
it has
fill?
to be picked up, yep.
And it's been sitting there for an extended period of time, and I'm not sure why. They are doing some renovations, siding, etc. But they have a good sized dumpster there too. Don't remember if I recognized the name on it or saw the name on it, but, so they sort of have
2 things.
2 things there. The dumpster, I'm gonna assume, is in use. This bag, for some reason, is not getting picked up.
Okay.
You remember the number again of the property?
I'm gonna say 97 or 99.
I'll check it out tomorrow.
Well, what I like to do if there's something like that, I like to see if there's any permits in the viewpoint system.
Yeah.
Cause I like to see if there's, what they're doing, if they're doing renovations. If you say no for a dumpster and yet you have a dumpster on property, then why lie to us?
Yeah, well, it's very possible that the siding contractor may have got the dumpster and not the homeowner, I don't know. And that, for some reason, there's a good sized pile of siding still sitting there. So I don't know if they started in the front and were working their way around. I haven't seen the contractors there for a few weeks. I don't know if something went wrong.
Could you
But I
tell
haven't-
us, could you tell us the siding is vinyl or aluminum? Like you're asking?
I believe it's vinyl.
Fine.
But when I've gone by, I haven't like had the opportunity to meet up with someone in the yard and say, how's it going? You know, because I mean, the house is looking so much better.
Nice.
It's just that, like I said,
I know what house it is.
yeah, something's not right.
Yep, we'll check it out.
And I don't know what it is, or I don't know if they need our assistance at some,
There you go.
you know, maybe they, you know, got themselves in a pinch and they need some help on how to get it straightened out.
We'll check it out.
All right, very good. Okay, topics not anticipated within 48 hours, folks.
I have nothing.
All right. Good welfare for the board. The only thing I saw recently in the news is someone on an Amtrak train, maybe from New York to Boston, had measles. May have spread it to other people on the train. So it appears as though measles
It's present.
is still
Right,
an issue.
it's really pathetic because of how, the reason is, of course, that one of the higher elements in the administration said, you know, they're not, the vaccines aren't worth anything. You know, we haven't had polio, we haven't had measles, we haven't had chicken pox, we haven't had rubella, because people got their vaccines, and now we're hearing all this hoo-ha. That's problematic.
This sounded as though it was an adult.
Mm.
So it could have been someone that hasn't been in the country long.
Right.
Or someone who's visiting from another country where, you know, the vaccination procedure isn't what it is in the United States.
Right.
Just kind of surprised me to still hear, you know, neurovirus quieted down. That was great. The only other thing I saw is, I'm gonna mess his last name up, but former Yankees player, 14-year-old son.
Art Gardner, you think of?
Yeah. Got sick from something that he may have eaten when they were on vacation. It passed away.
Oh, God.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
I heard,
Food poisoning.
I heard a little more that it sounded like the other members of the family were ill. So I'm assuming, and we're in that business, that it may have been foodborne.
Mm. That's too bad.
How
Yeah.
old a kid?
14, I believe.
Oh, my gosh.
How often for the family?
And then we're in this country on vacation.
I don't remember where they were, but they were on a family vacation when this happened. I don't remember, you know.
Are
where.
they American citizens?
Oh, they are,
Right,
yeah.
that's right, okay.
He's an MLB baseball player. Former.
Again, they were, former.
Former.
Yeah, but again, they, you know, family vacationing and a foodborne illness, the rest is kind of irrelevant. You don't want that to happen to anybody. And because of the business we're in, when I heard it was foodborne, that,
They're
you know,
just scared, right?
well, it kind of puts your radar up that,
Yeah,
you know,
Sure.
this stuff is out there. So I think that is about what I've heard. I don't think I have anything else.
Not that I have any topic per se, but I wanted to see if for next agenda, and I know maybe it was going to be on the agenda anyway, if we could put the trash recycle program on there for discussion.
Tip.
Other than that, I didn't have any other
All right.
points.
Before we set the next meeting, can we go to at least 6:30?
Sure.
Yeah,
Maybe for the month of April, before we go back to 7?
May I ask for 6 PM on April 9th to get the BBB staff in and out?
You can.
okay.
We are flexible.
Thank you. But after April 9th, you can make it whatever time you want.
No. Okay, so the next meeting, the date is going to be April
April 9th.
9th.
Just my birthday. Just so you know.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's right too.
yeah, I know that,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
Turning 21?
yes.
Good for you.
Yeah, I can't say that. And we're gonna go for 6 o'clock.
6 PM, please.
No worries.
And soon it's gonna be golfing season in May. So are we gonna do, you need to have,
By May, I need to be at 7,
right, anyway.
but I figured incrementally so that we don't
Right.
shock our systems. So, we'll do the next one at 6.
Right,
And then if we wanna do the next one for 6:30, and then when we get to May, we'll go to 7.
yeah, that works for
Yeah,
me, because then I can I have my Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
Afternoon, late afternoon golf, and
All right,
I'll always be the first one out.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the motion,
All in favor?
All aye.
Al and I,
Joyce, aye.
thank you very much.
Thank you all, everyone.
Thank you.